Tomorrow night, September the 26th, is going to be the greatest night, maybe, well, certainly in the history of presidential debates, but is going to be a singular moment in American history, in American political history, because of what could happen. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of things could happen, might not happen, but here's what could happen and why this is so important. For the most part, up till now, debates, presidential debates, really have not been as critical as people think. There were moments that kind of punctuated the obvious. When Gerald Ford pronounced one time that there was no evidence, and I paraphrase, of Soviet involvement or participation in Eastern Europe, Jimmy Carter's, whoa. And that was it. That was about as wild as it got. Whoa, wow. When Ronald Reagan said, well, I'm not going to bring up my opponent's youth and inexperience and make that a campaign issue. That was great. And the great Lloyd Benson, who had that paralyzed lip, that paralyzed, I don't know what that was. I thought like that. He goes, I know Jack Kennedy, and Mr. Crail, you're no Jack Kennedy. It was a vice presidential debate, but still, it was that moment. Did it really make a difference? Apparently not with Quayle, but, it was funny. This is different. Why? Because we are now immersed in a world in which it's all punchlines. In the old days, it was novels. Then it became cartoons. Then it became multi-frame cartoons. And now it's a one-frame kind of, Far Side or Nancy. Remember the cartoons? It just had one little frame, one cell. That was it. That's it. That's our news. YouTube, internet, viral, Twitter, repeat, memes, tropes, that's it. That's how we have condensed our interest in what's going on into just this very simple frame. We won't know about any of the issues that matter, nothing about NATO or Putin or World War III or Cold War or any of that stuff. Nothing to do with derivatives bubbles. No. Just that gotcha moment. That gotcha moment that will be repeated and replicated and just sent over and over again, which will create its own momentum. So get ready for that. That's what you have to remember. Americans are stupid. Stupid. Don't read, don't know, don't think, don't wonder, don't imagine, and don't care. Very easy picking. Something easy to digest. Something very simple for them to grasp. That's all they want. Okay, so understand that one. Now, here's what Donald Trump has to do to really cinch this thing. And I am not voting for any of these folks, any of these clowns. I'm voting for me, Lotus, Lionel of the United States, Lotus for POTUS. I'm voting for me. But between Trump and Hillary, no doubt about it. I'll take Trump hands down. You don't want this Clinton crime family at it again. You don't want this psychopath Hillary and this dynastic Clinton crew with Bush and his Clinton Global Initiative, and then Chelsea picking up the crumbs doing whatever it is that she does. Is she still making $600K from MSNBC or NBC? Is she still, come on. These guys, you talk about LCN folks with no-show jobs and, union. Nobody beats the Clintons. The Clinton mentality makes any racketeer blush and pale by and in comparison. There is nothing. Hillary Clinton has redefined pay to play. That's a nice way of saying bribery as Secretary of State. My God. But you already know that. So I do not want her anywhere near the White House. Maybe you picked up on that. maybe you might have heard, perhaps, my subtle insinuations that I'm less than a fan of one Hillary Clinton. Now, Trump's no prize. I'm not voting for him. I'm not voting for anybody. I'm not voting for somebody to consent to the subjugation of my particular rights. No, prisoners don't vote for their captors, their wardens. I'm not a part of this joke. No, I want a revolution. I'm not opting out. I'm going there, and I'm going to be voting, writing in my name. Oh, I'll vote, but not for these people. That's ridiculous. And anybody who honestly can tell me that they're a liberal or a progressive or a lefty or whatever the hell it is, and you're voting for Hillary Clinton, you don't know what you're talking about. You just hate Trump. But I've already been through that, and we know this. Now, here's what Trump has to do. Number one, optics. That's that term. Everybody's saying optics. What does optics mean? How does it look? How does it look? Who was the granddaddy of optics? Ronald Reagan. The best. The best. Ronald Reagan was, God, he was terrific. Not that great of a president, but great. Looked fantastic. He just looked great. How you look, how you carry yourself, what you can do that's different is so critical. Remember, Reagan was at Reykjavik but it was with Gorbachev when he shows up and he's standing there, and Gorbachev shows up in that box, that Russian car, and he looks like a fist with eyes and a hat and the whole bit. Lenny Scott, you've seen my videos. I've talked about Reagan. So here's what he needs to do. Number one, Trump has to work on the imagery. He needs the best. He needs video help. He needs a director. He needs a director really to show him, to watch this, how you walk out, how you appear. Let me tell you something which I have found out, and which is very, very true. The camera, the television camera, it's another world. It's another perspective. It's almost like looking through a kaleidoscope or something. It's beyond anything that we can even imagine in terms of how this even remotely looks. It's beyond. Well, it's just tremendous. It's beyond tremendous. Absolutely beyond. What it does, how it frames, how it positions. You also have to understand that there are people who work in the biz who are not interested in making you look the best at all. They're interested in making the shot. That's all they care about. The director wants to make the shot. So he's not worrying about how you look. You have to worry about that. You have to prepare that. You have to appear as such. You do. You have to give the impression. You have to make sure you know where you're staring, how you're staring, your looks, profiles, everything. All of that is so hypercritical, it is not even funny. It is beyond serious. It is beyond important. It is beyond... I'll give you an example. I've known people before who have been in regular television, and they're great people, and they look fine, but that angle, that camera makes their leg looks like this. And I was looking at the director and saying, why aren't you saying something? He said, I'm not interested in that. I want to frame the shot. I got to go to the next one. I'm not, yeah, but her leg looks like, I don't care about her leg. It's not my leg, it's her leg. So Trump has to realize how the scene is set, how the deck is set, so to speak, the stage, how he comes out, how he shakes his hand. He has to look at Hillary and look as though he's in control, that he's in, how do I say this, that he's mastered this countenance, the way he stands, the way he shakes her hand, not accommodating, not conciliatory, almost pitying her, but in a nice way, looking at her, like there. Well, look who it is. It's Hillary Clinton. This won't be too painful. This won't be too painful at all. You're going to be watching this. You're going to be watching as there's going to be chatter. Too much chatter is also strange too, because you see too much chatter, you think, why are they talking so much? What are they saying? Doesn't look good. So that first intro, how you even walk out, how you shake hands, how you even remotely present that is critical. Absolutely critical. This has to be done very, very carefully. Next, you can't act the way you've acted before. You can't, what you did with, Rubio and Cruz and everything, that was okay then, not now. Because remember, this is about how do I say this? It's about not you, but it's about the undecideds. Those people that never made their minds up. Kind of in the middle of the road. They're not really sure. Because, look, your fans love you, and they're not going to change their mind. Hillary fans are not going to change their minds. This is for that group. Remember, the millennials in particular, very, very critical group. The millennials are these folks who did not necessarily go to, how do I say this? They did not necessarily adopt Hillary Clinton when Bernie abandoned them. One particular poll a while back, Trump was 18 points ahead in independents. So this is a very, very serious group here. Very, very serious. So that's who you're talking about. Next, understand that you almost have to remember this rule. You're going to say you're going to say what you're going to say, no matter what they ask you. Okay? And what that means is, you're going to have to realize this is your chance to make the point. And you can't wait for the situation to come up. You can't wait for the question to come up. You can't wait for this moment to arise before you get to make your position about NATO or crime or what have you. You can't do that. So you're going to have to answer the question and work it into the question no matter what's asked, no matter what they say, no matter... And it can't look obvious, but you have to do that. Next, be ready to respond if she's stupid enough to bring up the Atlantic City business, the Atlantic City, dare I say, the Atlantic City failed businesses, the bankruptcies. Mentioned you've got about 500 businesses or so, 4 went under. Explain how that was a much better rate compared to like Mitt Romney's rate. Remember, his company. Well, just explain that to people. Just a very, very quick sentence. Get rid of that. But also, you have to explain to the American people, because this was a big deal, how Atlantic City basically went bankrupt itself, and how other corporations and hotels, Wynn and Revel and others, went bankrupt, went Chapter 7, went 13, not 13, went 11, either reorganization or Chapter 7 or whatever. Explain that this is something that was a part of the overall system. And then bring up a story that a lot of people may not remember, and that's Whitewater. See, Whitewater was different. This Jim Guy Tucker, this is the governor of Arkansas. This guy went to prison. These are 20 indictees, people indicted. This was Hillary front and center. Remind people of that. This isn't ancient history. Make somebody think, wait a minute, I didn't know that. If LGBT comes up, remind people how she was against it. Remind people. If for some reason they bring up Trump University, tell people about Laureate. Be able to explain it very, very quickly, because it's a little, it takes a little heavy lifting for you to get all of that out. But do that. Do that. It's critical that you do this. And it's critical that you are a part of this, for lack of a better word, a part of this this narrative that you must present to them. You must. You have to explain to them this story. And you've got to calm it down. Now, also remember that it doesn't matter really what you say, because no matter what, the media are not going to like it. They're not going to like you because they are committed to Hillary. We all know that. We all know that. That's the way that goes. There's nothing you can do to fix that or to change it. That's just the way it is, okay? Fine. Now, what's even more important, again, I say this, is that this is all about you. You need the best Hollywood, Broadway, whatever directors to create the meme of who you are. You may have never done this before. You may have never done this. You can do it. You've been around TV long enough where you understand kind of how this thing works. But you really need the professionals to explain this. This is showbiz. Remember, I say this again. Americans have no idea about issues. None. They have not the slightest clue as to anything. They don't read. They understand that you're boorish or churlish or rather aggressive. You're rude and churlish. If God forbid she ever brings up, and you've got to be willing to do this because America needs to know this. If she ever brings up anything about what you've said about women in this stupid ad they're running about how she has to explain to young women how he fat shames, let's talk about the sexual predation of Bill and how you, Hillary Clinton, not only covered it up, but may have aided and abetted in the intimidation of witnesses. See, people don't know that. And how you can work in this most critical part. For you to say something to the effect of you have the stamina, the strength, the power, the wherewithal, to almost say tacitly that Hillary might not have this problem or this ability. Hillary might not be able to do this because Hillary is gravely ill. Now, I know that her acolytes, her minions, and her zombies don't want to hear this. I understand that. They don't want to hear it. They're not interested in this. They don't really care about this. But this goes back, when you read this, and you read the narrative from 2012, and what Bill Clinton has said, by the way, he's got his own problems, but because the Bill, Mr. Glib of before, that ain't Bill now, no way. But from 2012, when she took that stumble and that tumble, I'll tumble for you, cue Boy George, but when she fell at the State Department, and then later on they moved to her residence, she was out for 30 days or more, and when they say 30, it was 60. When they say Trump's up 2 points, he's up 10 points. It's always less. It's like when you read a contraindication or warning signs in medication literature, and if you see may cause or link to murder, suicide, or something, you know that this happened off the charts, and that's why they have to put it in. So understand, they always downplay. But Hillary Clinton has been giving, the evidence. Bill's testimony of the blood clots and the concussions and the concussive disorders, not to mention that 9/11 drop, that collapse, with her doctor on the scene doing neurological testing. Here, grab my thumb, squeeze my thumb. Unreal. The Fresnel prismatic lenses for diplopia and double vision from concussions and brain damage. The Zeus 1 blue lenses for photosensitive epilepsy. Not to mention that Angelo Bruno, remember the guy, the mob boss? It was terrible. They whacked him in front of his house, and he was left in the car for hours with his mouth. Remember that one? That's Hillary. It was horrible. People looked and it was shocked. Losing her shoe at 9/11. It was like, what are you talking about? This was losing her shoe. They found it. Where's her shoe? Did somebody look down and say, oh, Jesus, she's not? It's sad. I mean, it was really sad. I had pneumonia. Pneumonia? Well, maybe not pneumonia. I was dehydrated. Dehydrated? Well, maybe. Pollen? Was that it? I mean, it was amazing. If that were Trump, come on. You and I know they would have demanded that he be committed. Hillary's got everything on the line now. You don't understand something here. She's never really been under pressure. It's been handed to her. When she wanted to run for president, for senator, Bill was the president. Nita Loy, that was it. I think it's Nita Loy. I think it was Nita Loy. Anyway, she stepped aside. Okay, Hillary, it's yours. Rick Lazio, the Republican, remember that debate? It was a fantastic debate. When he walked over, he was going to hand her something and say, whoa, what are you doing there? What are you doing there, Tiger? Getting too close to the little lady? What are you, a little aggressive there? Remember that one? It was weird. By the way, New Yorkers might remember the best debate ever was between Bernadette Castro and Daniel Patrick Moynihan. That was the best one. Because he was the senator, of course, the patrician. He also had that paralyzed lip. I don't know what that... Anyway, you always look like you're smelling something bad. And Bernadette Castro was the daughter, not the Dauphin, but the heir to the Castro convertibles. She was a young girl. She was jumping up on the couch. Anyway, she was running. She was Parks commissioner or something. Anyway, she ran for senator, U.S. senator against him. And the debate was amazing because Moynihan didn't even look at her. It was like she wasn't even there. He would talk, answer a question, never looked at her. It was like they were photoshopped. Like they were. It was the strangest thing. That was a bit severe. He won, but then again, anybody could have won against Bernadette Castro. But keep in mind something. This Hillary's never had any opposition. None. She doesn't know how to handle this. Bernie Sanders was a joke. This is a guy who right off the bat said, do we have to talk about the damn emails? Good, Bernie. That was great. You let her off the hook. You didn't even get started. And you let her off the hook. What is the matter with you? I mean, this is just beyond insane. And the millennials realize we've just been hosed, haven't we? You hosed us, Bernie. We trusted you. So, she doesn't know about this. She never had any tough debates. She's never been in a knockdown, drag-out election. No, that's her sense of entitlement. What are you doing to me? You dare run against me? Moi? Hillary? No. And Trump came in and he slaughtered 16 of the best the Republicans had. Senators, governors, a brain surgeon. Even a brain surgeon. An actual brain surgeon. Though, not the best brain surgeon, but, well, he was tremendously talented, but the guy couldn't string two words together without, help. But that's what this is about. It is enormous. The implications of this election are without peer. Without peer. This is huge. And Hillary does not know how to handle this. Because remember, if Hillary loses this one, so long Clinton Foundation, they got money, don't get me wrong, but Clinton Global Initiative, and so long Chelsea. Because politics was the feeder system. Bill goes in first. He leaves, and of course, Hillary now becomes senator and the heir apparent, so the pipeline was there. Had Hillary not been senator or not been able to run, Bill wouldn't get these speaking fees. Come on, speaking fees are bribes. That's what a speaking fee is. It's a nice way of saying, look, I'm going to pay you, but make sure this gets to Hillary, or make sure I get most favored nation status from the Secretary of State, whatever it is. But you remove that political conduit, and Bill is just nothing. Especially now. Nobody's going to want to hear Bill speak. Mr. Charm, that's over with. And Chelsea, please. So this is it. And I'm tired of this Clinton dynastic business. The Bushes and the Clintons. What is this? What are we? The Hanovers? Remember them? The Windsors? The Battenbergs or Mountbattens? They're Germans. Don't get me started on the royal family. So this, you don't understand. Not only that, deep down inside, you know that Obama is kind of laughing his ass off because Hillary and Mark Penn and Blumenthal were the originators of the birther story. You know this. I'm sure you know this. I hope you know this. They started it. They did it. They were responsible for this. Not Trump. Got news for you. And God bless Trump for even bringing up birtherism. He hasn't done truther, but he did vaccine info. I mean, God bless him for at least daring to ask the question that millions of Americans have asked. The same question, the same identical question that people have wanted to ask, he did. And Hillary Clinton, let's face it, she has done nothing. Her record, there is no record. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. She's the most traveled Secretary of State. There you go. Thank you. What did she accomplish? I don't know, but she's the most traveled Secretary of State. This is going to be huge. Now, assuming, well, rephrase that. Whoever wins, whoever is considered the winner by the media, public opinion, the collective ideology, whoever wins is going to demand that the, quote, loser, well, let me rephrase that. If Trump wins this, he's going to now say, hey, now's a good time to bring in Jill Stein, Gary Johnson, and Hillary's going to say, no, wait, no, I want another crack at you. No, that was it. I set the momentum. I'm the winner. I won this. And now we're just going to just let you and Gary, let them go after you. I'm just sitting back. I'm the winner. I won. You didn't. So expect that. If Trump is declared the winner, whatever that means, and nobody declares you a winner, but if his team and he believe that he won, that's what's going to happen. Believe me, as Andrew Cuomo would say. That's what's going to happen with that. Nobody, they were actually saying at first, well, this is going to be up against Monday Night Football. That's not fair. I think Monday Night Football is going to have their lowest numbers because this isn't a debate. This is it. And I wonder, this is it, obviously. I wonder what Hillary is doing right now. Is she resting? And by the way, I know it sounds like I'm gloating. I'm not gloating. I don't want anybody to be ill, but she's ill. She's gravely ill. She cancels. There was this one story where she was going to go to, what was it, Charlotte or something, and they said, please don't come. She was so happy. Oh, thank God. Or maybe she couldn't come and they had somebody there say, please don't. I don't know. She missed the California fundraiser. All she did was fundraise. That was it. That's all she did. When she was too weak and too sick to do that, she was really sick. And say what you want about Trump. If you think this guy doesn't look healthy or robust and energetic compared to Hillary, are you nuts? Seriously. I mean, let's face it. His campaign, his message is very simply this. America is in dire straits right now. America is really in trouble. America really needs to be looked at. That goddamn dog. America really needs something, some kind of a control mechanism, the way that Rudy Giuliani controlled New York. Shootings and stabbings and mall shootings and ISIS and terrorism, all of this on kind of Obama's watch and then hers as well. Think about that. And he's going to ask this very simple question. So let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. America, who, I guess, do you think would be doing a better job as president? Somebody who is beholden now to the Saudis and the Wahhabists and those individuals, those terrorist bastards, or somebody who's not afraid to ruffle feathers and make waves and abrade and excoriate when need be. Think about it. I'm the one you want. Because if I'm the one who's going to be talking tough to people, you don't want somebody who's worried about being nice and polite. This is a mean, nasty world. And whether it's North Korea or Saudi Arabia or being tough with Putin. And by the way, he has to rephrase that one. Putin is not some tin horn thug. This is the leader of a huge country with nuclear weapons. He needs to be spoken to like Reagan did, like Nixon did. So this idea of getting NATO and sticking your thumb in his eye doesn't make any sense. If Trump listens to what I'm saying and gets professional help, that's not funny, but you know what I mean, advice in terms of how to do this, and really marks his ground, rehearses, watches, plays it back, looks at how he looks how to stand, watch for posture, clothing, color, makeup, watch the makeup. How are the lights going to be? Who's in charge? Get rid of those white circles, whatever that raccoon thing when you get that fake tan or whatever the hell this xanthodermic tan-colored hue you have. Little things, no distractions. Watch the hair, watch the tie, muted, look presidential. Talk to somebody who would be a director, somebody who would tell Martin Sheen or somebody how to be the president. I'm serious. You need acting lessons. You need acting. Know little things, how to react without saying anything, when to look at the camera. Be careful not to look into it. Don't play follow the lights. You'll look insincere as you try to find which one to look at. Make sure when you look at it, you are present. You play this back. Look at where the iris is. Where do you look? How do you look? How do you communicate? How do you talk to people and not the crowd? This isn't you're not talking to Hofstra University. It's not a rally. It's a different mechanism. It's a different platform. You're talking to the voter. That's what you're talking to. That's what needs to be done, not the usual routine. You've got to be careful. You also don't get into that script mode, or that prompter mode, where it sounds almost like you're a bit sedated yourself. That's not your style. You know, you're great when you speak extemporaneously, but it's crude and it's rude and it's bullyish, and that's not going to work. Prompter, not good. Not good. Almost tranquilized, quaaludized, not good. Lemon 714 babies, Gorilla Biscuits, Soapers. I don't like what you're... No. Somewhere in the middle. This is where your team should be going through this with you. That is more important than issues. And if you're ever stumped, you say, if they ask you some question, obviously you don't know about Aleppo or Raqqa or the Jarablus corridor, you can say, you know what? What's even more important is this, or that reminds me, this is important, and shift to the answer you're going to say no matter what, come hell or high water. And ask, I know a better question that the country wants answered. What am I going to do about committing our troops to parts of the world that really pose no security interest whatsoever to this country? How am I going to handle that? That's the way you want to talk. Have this lined up. It's your kata. It's your quiver. It's what's there for you to use when you need to. Okay? I'm going to be tweeting all Monday night and be watching, and with great precision and interest, and invite you, look, I'm Gary Johnson, and I invite you to follow me at Lionel Media on Twitter to follow what I'm saying. I'll be doing some RT, brilliant points, per usual, more YouTubes. I did a podcast that's out today on the Sunday, it's on the 25th. So go to lionelmedia.com, get the podcast, subscribe. Also go to iTunes, Stitcher, and Audio Boom. Look under Lionel Nation. Okay? Don't forget, October the 23rd, I'll be announcing my presidency on stage at the Cutting Room in New York City, Tickets and information are available at my website at lionelmedia.com, October 23rd. Until you and I speak to each other again, this is your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you to comment as you see fit.